So I just finished a 14-day challenge to $1,000 and I failed miserably. I made $0 during that challenge and I take full blame for it. I admit that it was all my fault and I could have done so many things better during that time. So in this video, I'm going to share what I did wrong so that hopefully I can help you with whatever your business ventures are, or even just in life, and hopefully I can help you with my personal story. So my plan for this challenge was to make $1,000 in 14 days by selling websites to local businesses. I charge $500, sell two, and I make $1,000. Should be pretty easy. All these guys on Instagram and YouTube, they make it look so easy to just make a website and sell it to people. But what they really don't go into is the fact that sales is a lot harder and a lot more intimidating than you might think at first. So I thought that I was just going to go in, ask a couple people if I could build them a website. They would say yes, they would pay me, and I would make money. But unfortunately, that is not how this business works, and I really thought it was going to work like that, I'm not going to lie. I figured it'd be hard, but I still was like, it can't be that hard, right? Well, it was that hard, unfortunately. One of the big things that I saw along the way within how I did things was I told myself I was working a lot when I wasn't actually doing anything. And I wouldn't only tell myself that, I would tell you guys that through the short form videos. But in reality, everything that I was doing, every time that I said I was doing something productive, I was really just doing useless things that did not have to be done right then or really at all. And I was just putting off cold calling people because I was so terrified of it. And that's the other thing that I was really struggling with, is I was super scared of calling people. And it was because I was scared of, one, rejection. That's a big one within almost everyone who does sales. But also just judgment. Like, I was terrified that they would think this or that of me. And I realized that that doesn't really matter. Like, I'm never probably ever going to see them again. And if I do, it's because they were nice and gave me a chance. So if they were mean to me and they judge me, I don't care, because it's not like I'll ever see them again. And so it doesn't really matter in the long run. Another thing is that I made excuses along the way. A lot of excuses. The biggest one that I used was that I didn't have time. I didn't have time to call people today because I was doing this or I was doing that. But in reality, almost every time I said that, I had at least 20 minutes that I could have sat down and called people. But instead, I wasted that 20 minutes staring at the script and looking at my phone with the number dialed in, about to press that call button, but I had to practice the script just one more time. And that one time became into 5, and that 5 into 10. And then I found myself just sitting there for 20 minutes, rehearsing the script over and over and over again until I had it perfect, but it didn't really matter because after that, then I had to go off and do something else. So that being said, I learned a lot about myself in this challenge. I think it's important to have self-awareness, because without that, then I really make no progress. And even though I might not have done anything with this challenge, not made any money, I still did learn a lot about myself. I realized I avoid discomfort disguised as being busy, which is a big one. I am scared of what people think, and that really has been costing me a lot, because that fear of what people think of me has been holding me back from almost every single aspect within that challenge. And the other thing is that I make a lot of excuses to keep me from actually getting to those results that I want. And those aren't like just character flaws, but those are switches in my brain that I need to flip and fix. If I can get those flipped the other way and say, I don't care what people think about me, I have no excuses, I'm just going to work. And it doesn't matter if I'm uncomfortable doing whatever, but that doesn't mean I'm busy doing something that doesn't matter, right? So those are some things that I've learned about myself, and I think that's really important to have within running a business, is learning who I really am, because without that, then how am I supposed to tell others who I am if I don't even know who I am? So to be real with you, I am really the only thing holding me back from my potential. You know, the only thing between where I am now and where I can be is me. You know, I want this dream life. One of the big goals I'm setting for myself is, it's a huge goal, but it's definitely possible. And I really want you guys to help me out with this. Is in 9 months, I have senior prom. And I'm trying to show up to senior prom in a McLaren. Like, that's been a dream of mine for like 3-4 years, is just pulling up to prom in some exotic car that's like nobody else has, and it's mine, like it not being someone else's, right? So I think that's like super cool, and that's like just a big goal I'm setting for myself, because if I set a huge goal like that, and I have you guys helping me actually achieve that, because you guys can help keep me accountable. If I ever talk about quitting or something, you can just bring up the McLaren and be like, yo, you gotta lock in, right? So I think having that goal is gonna be really big. So yeah, the only thing standing between me and my potential is me. What I'm actually planning on doing to get to that goal of the McLaren is I want to start an AI automation agency. You know, I can sell this for a lot higher of a price. Obviously, that means people will say no more. But now that I have some experience with a smaller business agency, I think that'll help me with this one, knowing that, all right, people are not going to answer me barely at all. And I just have to push through that and keep DMing, keep calling. And sooner or later, someone will say, you know what, man, sure, I'd like to see what you do. So that is what I'm doing in terms of how I plan on getting to that goal. You know, I don't know that it'll be the only income source that I have in the next 9 months. I'm hoping I can expand into a couple more, but it all just depends on what happens. You know, if I don't even start this one, then I can't expand into any more. So I really need to, you know, start now and push through any discomfort that I have, because sooner or later that'll all pass away and I'll have my dream life. Look back on this time and be like, you know what? It was worth going through all that discomfort. So no, I do not know everything, clearly, because, you know, I failed this challenge very miserably. I'm just 17 and I'm trying to figure it out, you know, I'm figuring it out as I go, because I can't figure it out before. I don't know what challenges I'm gonna face along the way. But what I do know is that I'm done making excuses and I'm just gonna push through. You know, I think that is the biggest thing that I can do at this moment. So if you want to follow my journey and see where I go ahead and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.